In this video, I'm going to share how to know if you're communicating your value effectively, like a few different steps so you can determine whether or not you're doing that correctly, and how to fix it if you're not. Stay tuned. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Natalie Fisher. I'm the founder of Get a Six Figure Job You Love YouTube channel and podcast. And I have a signature series method that will run you through how to land your six-figure job. And I help professionals rapidly shift their thinking abilities, help them think at a higher level to create more control over their career outcomes. And I help them do that through my coaching program. So if you're new to me, welcome. Nice to meet you. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video so far, and I will be delivering some great content. So I promise you, you will love it. And if you don't, you can just click off. So I'm going to talk about the mistake that is causing you to not communicate your value, the shift in thinking that you need to have, and how most people are actually undervaluing themselves. So undervaluing yourself is not something that you would necessarily know you're doing. Most of the time, people are thinking, oh, it's the market. People can't pay me that much. It's just not possible to make that much. And here's what I have to say to you about that. If there is a single person who is making the money you want to make and they are less qualified than you, less educated than you, then you are wrong about that, my friend. So I see this a lot. People will say, I know my value. I really do. I just can't convince other people of it. So here's what I'm thinking. You can't possibly know your value if it's not matching up to you monetarily. If you aren't, and like, there are like skills gaps and stuff for communicating it. That's the only thing that will get in the way, right? So, and you have to know it very, very deeply in order to be able to communicate it effectively. And that's what I realize people don't know. So a lot of people come to me and they'll say, I do know my value. I am communicating it. So what I want to do is run you through a little process to determine whether or not that is in fact true. Because if you're not getting the result, then the likelihood is that that's not true, actually. You don't actually know it entirely. And maybe you know it in your bones, like you feel it. You're like, yes, I know I'm valuable and I know I have a lot to offer. And you believe that. Like, yes, that's probably true. But what I'm suggesting is you don't know like the nitty gritty of it. Like you don't know how much money you actually saved an employer, or you don't know how much time you actually saved. So let me get into that. So here's why I know you probably don't know your value. Because if you know your value and you're presenting it really well, then people should see it as like a no-brainer, right? And this is what happens with my clients. So I know this is true. If you, for example, if somebody comes to you and says, I have a brand new Lamborghini and I'm selling it for $1,000, okay? You would, even if you don't have $1,000 or $1,000 is out of your budget or whatever, you would see that return, right? You would be like, oh, that's going to yield me way more. So I'm going to figure out how to get $1,000 so that I can get that Lamborghini, and it's a no-brainer. Of course, I'm going to be able to sell it for way more. Of course, it's going to make me way more in some way, right? So there's a caveat. Of course, you have to want to advance. You have to want more of a return, right? Some people might say, well, I don't care. I don't like Lamborghinis, or I don't want that. And they're not thinking farther ahead. They're not thinking about like, oh, well, I could just sell it, right? And like, I don't actually need to have it. So if you're not presenting your value to that effect, to that degree, then there is work to be done. There are places where you could be communicating it better. And this is something that is completely within your control. So I'm going to share with you what to do so that you can look at that more effectively. So if you can't confidently say, I'm going into an interview and I am communicating my value at that level, like presenting them a Lamborghini for $1,000, then you have work that you could do. There's improvements that you can make. So I'm going to share with you five steps that will begin to show you how to do this. So first of all, you have to do a real thorough assessment of your own value. And that means that you need to know exactly how much monetary value you've contributed in the past using your hard skills and your soft skills. And a lot of times people don't think that soft skills can be monetized when they absolutely can. And so there's a process for doing both of those. Then there's the compound effects that your value has had over time. So say you put a process in place and that process is still being used, even though you're no longer at the company, that counts as value compounded that you put into play. Okay. And then there's your future potential. So your future potential is going to be what you will create, kind of like your intellectual property that you create when you're working in a place, or the work that you put into that you haven't put into that yet. So when employers hire you, they are kind of making an investment, right? They're paying you up front, they're making the commitment to hire you, and they want an investment and a return back from that. And so it's your job to show them how they'll get that. And so that's the step number one, is doing a super thorough assessment of your value, your soft skills, your hard skills, the monetary value that they have yielded in the past, then the compound effects that they have, and then your future potential, right? And so it's a formula to put that, you want to put that through a formula, and then you want to have some numbers, and then you will be clear on asking for the salary that you want to ask for. It won't be difficult. It'll be clear as to why you're asking for the salary you want to ask for. So that's what you want to do. You want to, step two, you want to add up the monetary value of all that stuff. Okay. You want to add it up and see exactly how much you've made. And of course, these are going to be guesstimates, but when I do this work with my clients, the guesstimates are way bigger than even if they're being conservative, the guesstimates are really big. So especially if you've had a career and you have added some value already in the past. So step number 3 is going to be, ask them in the interview, what are the top 3 results that you want to get from this hire? Like, you're hiring for this position. Obviously you have a need. What are the top 3 results that you would want to get from this hire that would make you super happy? Okay. You want to find that out from them. And then 4, you want to assess with your value that you've put together, that you've created in your head, that you've gone through the value process, and you want to match it to the results they want. You want to say, okay, how can the monetary value that I've created match up and apply specifically to these results that they want to get? Okay. And so this is not something that we're taught to do. This isn't something that we're normally doing in our head, right? We're just like answering questions and hoping that they like our answers and hoping that they like us. And like, by doing that, we're throwing away a lot of potential for showing them that Lamborghini level value. Okay. And when we put our focus on how we can show the value, that is a very important thing that we can control. And we have to look at only what we can control, because that is actually what yields us the results in the end. We can't control other people. We can't control someone's decision. We can't control this, but we can control how we present our value, and we can control exactly how we state that and how we apply it. We can control what questions we ask. We can control so much in the process. And so what we need to do is get really skilled and masterful at running that formula through our value and then applying it to what other people need. Okay. And when you can do that and do it in the right environments with the right people, and the people who are willing and want to pay you for your time and energy, then you will start to see a different result. Okay. So hopefully this helps you shift your perspective from thinking that you just need to answer the questions, or that you do know your value. Like, knowing your value is a very fluffy thing. Like, if someone says, I know my value. Okay. And then I would ask them, okay, well, how much value monetarily did you contribute to your last employer in the time that you were there? They won't be able to tell me that number off the top of their head. I'll be like, okay, how much value did you contribute on that project? Right? It's actually going to take some digging and doing a formula and doing an equation to actually come up with a number, even if it's just a guess, if it's a rough number, to be able to say that's how much value I contributed. Right? And so that is something that we're not taught to do. And so that's something that I did when I was in corporate, and I doubled my salary, and I created my trajectory through running formulas like this, through getting very specific about, okay, what was it? What wasn't it? What did I say? What didn't I say? Why didn't they see it? And just getting really curious. And then I've created this formula to help my students now do that. So you can continue this work with me. If you're interested in continuing on, you can get my 3-day series. It's below, the link's below. And I run through more specifics about this formula. And how you can use this process to help you land the six-figure job. So this is one small portion of the process that I teach, and you can get on the list for that 3-day series, and you will be able to see in more depth the steps that I take my students through. So this 3-day series is essentially the first module of my paid program, and it's kind of a give it a try, see what you think, and then if you'd like to go deeper with me, you can coach personally with me and work with me in the entire program, where we go through in depth your personal situation. So if you want to go deeper for that, click the link below. Give a thumbs up for this video if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't like it. Tell me what insights you had about your value. Did you have any ahas, any breakthroughs go off in your head? And if you do have an idea of your value, then great. Can you put the monetary amount into the comments? I would love to see that. So let me know what you thought, and I will see you in the next video or on the training. Love to connect. Bye.